Hello and welcome, Maidenettes and Maidenites, and hello to our little producer in the background there.
Hello. Go back
Our
to
good
sleep.
friend. Is that Chalky?
That's Chalky, yeah. We
That's
normally
Chalky.
get Molly, but Chalky got there first and his sister's really pissed off.
So welcome to episode 39 of Maidencast. We are up in the ante now. We used to be a weekly show, but now we are doing it every couple of days in anticipation of the new album. For those of you that are new to the show, this is maybe your first episode. Welcome aboard. A brief little introduction. We are what started out as doing all of the Iron Maiden albums week by week. We decided we were going to stop and do every solo album and side project and all and in between, covering every nook and cranny and high peak and low valley that is the Iron Maiden back catalogue. Yeah. And there's been a few of those along the way. And we decided we would do it all in order of release as well. So yes, we are doing all of the Iron Maiden albums with everything else on along the way. And when it comes to the actual Iron Maiden albums, Book of Souls is the last one we've got to do now. Until the new one comes out. We've got a few Blaze Bayley solo albums to do along the way, another album from Paul. And today, though, episode 39, we are doing British Lion by Steve Harris, the man himself, the boss, the governor, Arry Harris.
The one man you never thought would do a side project.
Yeah, there was always, this was a crazy bit of news, wasn't it? Because there was,
what the fuck, like, you know?
Yeah, there was a, we did, there was going to be a big announcement, wasn't there, on the website, and we were all counting down thinking, oh, what's this going to be?
That's it,
and then all of a sudden it was, do what? Steve's gone solo.
It was, yeah, it was weird.
I'm just going to zap this. Yeah, so, what was your initial reaction when you got the news of this?
Well, it was, you know, it was pretty much the same as everyone else's. It was like, really?
Yeah.
You know, I thought there was more chance of, you know, obviously we've had Bruce scratching an itch and, you know, Adrian scratched an itch, but Steve always seemed to be, you know, Mr. Maiden, and obviously he grew up. Obviously, we all know into his classic rock and all the rest of it, and obviously that's an itch he didn't know he had to scratch. But yes, you know, 2 albums now. Obviously, we'll get there to get to the second one in you know, in good time. But yeah, it was just weird.
It's funny, isn't it? Because Steve, you know, everyone seems to indulge their hobbies when they're off. It's quite, when you're at the level of Iron Maidens, you know, when you're at that level, you do an album every 5 years, because you would have to do a 2-year tour, and it's all calculated. And they go, you have to go away for a little bit in order to come back. And if you bag them out too quick, you're not going to get the same anticipation that would fill up a stadium or an arena. So, you know, they're up there with the U2s of the world now. And so at the end of that tour, you know, here's your payday.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next year. Go and have a year off or 9 months off or whatever. So everyone goes to indulge their hobbies. For most rock stars, that normally means a drug habit.
Not for our boys, though. Not anymore, anyway.
But yeah,
got fishing.
Goes flying planes, and
Adrian goes fishing.
Open up rib restaurants, and
yeah. Don't know what Davey does in Hawaii. Probably just fucking surfs and just sits about.
You don't know, do you?
But, no, that's the thing. You never, old Davey, old Smiler. You never really know what's going on there. He just fucks off to his little former leprechaun and keeps himself to himself.
So but Steve's hobby is playing in a band. I honestly think if Iron Maiden didn't get as big as they got, they would still be going today. It might not be the same lineup. It might not be thing, but I think a band called Iron Maiden would be in existence.
Yeah, he's one of them guys you'd see.
Well, all the bands that were going the same time as Maiden are still in existence.
Yeah,
Angel Witch put out a Pucker album a year or 2 ago.
Diamond Head is still going.
Yeah, and I honestly, you know, even if you look at something, it was a bit tragic, really. But the Anvil, that film Anvil.
Yeah.
They had the drive of Steve Harris.
That's
it. It was only
didn't have the brakes, did they?
Certain things didn't fall into place, and as much as drive, you know, discipline and talent and all the rest of it, That's great, but you still need that sprinkling of luck for it all to fall into place. And I think had Iron Maiden not quite been as successful as it was, he would still be working and doing what he had to do, but he would still be doing Iron Maiden. So when the day job, pays off and you've got that bit of holiday time, he's just like, well, I still want to play. So I think that's really where this come from. So the background of this was British Lion was a band that took hold of Steve's consciousness.
Yeah, he mentored him
back in the 90s, I believe.
Yeah.
And he actually put his toe in the water, so to speak, to managing bands. Everyone sort of does a little bit of production on the side, don't they? Or tries to run a record label and all the rest of it. Well, Steve actually managed this band at the time, and I've just got a little thing here. Richard Taylor and Graham Leslie were members of a band called British Lion, who approached Steve Harris in 1992 with a view to produce them. Steve liked their songs and agreed to help, but the band would later implode before they recorded anything. Richard Taylor started a new band with David Hawkins, and Steve joined in some of their writing sessions. Eventually, all four of them came together and continued working on the album that became British Lion. I do believe as well, he does, if I remember, he did actually produce an album once, Steve Harris.
Probably for Dirty Deeds. He was mates with them, wasn't he? Band who used to go out and tour with Maiden all the time.
Yes, he was executive producer of these two albums.
They were actually fucking really good.
Detritus,
I imagine.
Detritus. If But For One, 1993. He engineered, mixed, and produced that album.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Well, what else are you going to do when you're auditioning singers? It's in that time, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he just had that studio installed as well. He was probably playing with his new toy. He thought, yeah, that's a good.
But yeah, like I say, downtime.
I didn't know. He produced and engineered Slammer, Insanity Addicts EP. That's a. Have you heard Slammer?
No, I don't. Can't say I have.
Yeah, let's have a quick.
No doubt it's on the shelf.
Yeah, let's go. Let's just browse for the library quickly. Yeah, think of like the singer of this band actually reminds me a little bit of the singer from Stamping Ground.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. That artwork was kind of edited to appeal to an American market. Didn't do him a lot of favors, but still a cool album.
Yeah.
He produced that. Oh, I did not know that.
Well, there you go.
Makes me want to. And and then this was the second album. Underrated band actually. And well, I'll tell you what happens. They when this album was released, they opened for a little known band. A little band came over from America called Tempora or something. And Slammer opened up for them. And well, what do you think happened? But yeah. But worth checking out. Slammer.
Yeah.
So but anyway, British Lion. It's definitely a different album. Certainly not what we were all expecting. Well, we didn't know what to expect.
I suppose, but I suppose it is exactly what we should have expected had we known to expect it, if you know what I mean. We know he loves what he loves, his UFO, his fucking, all this sort of stuff. He's scratching the prog itch with Maiden now. He doesn't have to do a side project where he does that sort of shit. Apparently, he wanted to try out different bass playing styles, which I read on Wikipedia. How true that is, I don't know, because obviously Wikipedia is notoriously full of shit. But it gives him a chance to do something different. And
there's some very signature. I mean, you know Steve Harris.
Side project, isn't it? If it's different. So
I think if some technical whiz kid somehow edited Steve Harris's bass onto Rain in Blood, you could still tell it was Steve.
Yeah.
Playing bass, but there is certain bits where that sounds like a bit of Phil Lynott there. And
there's definitely
trying out some different. It's not so much that; it's different tones as well.
Yeah,
and different sounds on the bass rather than his technique. I mean, he plays the way he plays, and that's that.
Yeah, that's it. And he's, he has his, he we watch him play. You say he's all fingers, but he's barely touching them strings. It's like his tone is such a thing where he doesn't have to fucking go all out and work his fingers to the bone. He's barely touching them. That's why he can go so quick, because obviously the sound people in the musos listening would know better than why. But you watch him play, and he's never pounding the fucking things. Not like Jason in Metallica used to. He used to fucking give it loads. And Cliff and Stevie's sort of barely. But that's why he can get the quickness, why he can do these crazy runs, because it's. I'd like to compare it. It's probably nothing like it, but I'd compare it to putting triggers on kick drums. It means you don't have to hit them so hard to get the sound. Where you don't have to go hell for leather, and it helps your stamina out. People don't know what they're talking about. Call it cheating. They can fucking do one, because it's a vital part of of music and getting your right sound.
Yeah, I mean, I've never properly watched an interview with his influences, but I think he's a big influence on Alex Webster in Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse, guys, isn't he?
He's all fingers as well. The way he still manages to throw a bit of melody in there as well. Like just on some quiet parts, he'll have like a. So,
yeah, I'd say it's got Steve Harris written over it. But someone like that would have been, if they're playing with their fingers, they would have been influenced by Steve and by Cliff Burton, wouldn't they? I mean, they would have too. And as much as they're different, they're very much the same, because they both thought outside the box. It was lead bass. It wasn't just, let's play in the background. It was
Geezer Butler as well.
Geezer, fair play to him, yeah. But I think they both took it to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah, even Geezer Butler had a solo on that first Sabbath album. That was, Cliff Burton would have a solo, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And things like that. But, very... this is much more of a classic rock. This is a very dad rock album, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah.
I was listening to one song. I think it was, it might be Us Against the World or The Chosen Ones, but it was just like, this is the band. When you first start dating a girl, when you're a metal musician and you start dating a girl and you tell her you're in a band, this is like the sound that she hopes when you say you're in a band.
And then you come out like Corpse.
Yeah. And then
fucking ruins it.
Yeah. And then like Christian Grey, I have a pleasure room. Would you like to see it? And then
start playing cattle decapitation and all that shit. Speak before we get into the more, like, just throwing on from the extreme stuff. I just want to say rest in power to #1. That was happened. Obviously, we read about that last night, and that was that hit hard, that one.
I'm going to be doing a video later.
I can't say...
I didn't want to rush one out. I wanted to...
No, I just want to put it in here. I mean, I can't say Joey was an influence on me, because I was already playing long before Slipknot came along, but it was hard to not know how fucking good he was. Mm. Some of the drums he put out, it was like, what? And it pissed me off, because everyone's going, they got 2 percussionists. No, that took away from Joey, because they don't do fuck all. No. Joey was a savage. You've only got to listen to people equal shit, and the drumming on that is phenomenal. And rest in power, mate. You went far too soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to treat yourself, go and have a look at the drum cam footage.
On Disaster Pieces,
anything, from those first 2 albums.
He's an animal.
When he stepped in for Lars Ulrich, again, you forget how good this guy was and how big he did actually, surge. He drummed in Metallica, even if it was just for the one day.
Yeah, he saved the bacon, didn't he? But no, I mean, the guy was
there's really good footage of him from the back, and you see his feet and everything doing Creeping Death.
Yeah.
Again, and he had one foot in the underground as well. He championed like the black metal scene when Satyricon toured America. For some reason, Frost, who again I had the pleasure of seeing 1349. I've never saw Satyricon, but 1349, his other band, I saw them play the Underworld, and I had a photographer's pass, so I was on the like the top of the Underworld where they all stand at the side.
Yeah.
I was there watching him from the side, and that guy is an animal.
Yeah.
And he got turned down at the US border. Don't know why. So Satyricon are there, and their drummer's been refused entry. Is like, what do we do? One phone call, Joey Jordison flew down, did the tour at a
Crazy.
second's notice. So he knew, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And he did a really cool band recently that for the life of me, I can't pronounce. And I have got.
Oh, yeah, it's a weird one, wasn't it? I still haven't heard of them, to be fair.
The black metal. Well, they were kind of like the black metal, but a bit more mainstream. The singer from Mayhem was in them. But he did twin vocals with a singer of a band called Doff, they put out 3 tremendous albums. They got sort of lumped in with the metalcore thing, but they weren't, and they were nothing like it. The Hinderers, I think, was one of their albums. The Hinderers was the best of the 3, but they did 3 awesome albums. There's the singer of them as well. The guy from Dragon Force as well. But
the current
they were underrated albums.
The current bassist, the Bad Wolves,
he
I
did
think,
a pretty cool, like, what was it called? Killing the Martyr or something. Kill the Martyr, something like that. It was like a sort of cool, sort of industrial, but kind of post-punk. It was kind of metal, but with a bit of rock as well. That had the guitarist from Darkest Hour in them as well. That was a pretty cool album, but they kind of imploded after one album. He tried reforming it with a new lineup under a different name, and that couldn't quite get off the ground. But it was really weird what happened with Slipknot. And
well, he was diagnosed with some rare form of MS, wasn't he?
Yeah, but again, it's just like, they were quick to. I don't know what happened, but I think they could have done more to help him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be doing a video of my own on that soon. Yeah. So I'd rather go into it.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get it out there for the people who watch this, because that's a loss. That's a big loss, man. And like I say, gone way too soon.
That whatever that condition was as well, you don't know if that came back.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it could.
But even then, this guy was told, "You're not going to walk again."
Yeah, and that was what 7, 8, 9 years ago.
And he went, "Fuck you."
Did another 3 bands and
went on to do another. So that determination alone is worth of respect.
Yes.
And like I say, I've even said it before, and I was going to say it on the video, but I might as well say it now. Is not everyone sets a new standard. So when Dave Lombardo did When Rain in Blood come out, it was like, right, drummers, you ain't. You might be good, but you're not shit till you can do this. So, although this is like the peak of drumming, new drummers, this is your starting point.
Yeah,
and you could say.
I think Vinnie Paul did it with Far Beyond Driven, with Becoming. It was a case of, what is he doing? How the fuck does he do that? Like you say, you get these ones every so often. Like you said, they raise the bar. Yeah, and
that first Slipknot album did that without a shadow of a doubt. And Pete Sandoval for Morbid Angel. I mean, I remember I was interviewing someone from Nafrak, and he said, like, when I was listening to Pete Sandoval, Morbid Angel, we just went, well, this is it. You can never get any faster than this. And he's like, now you go on YouTube, like some 14-year-old putting a Morbid Angel. So it's like,
crazy.
But
they're using them as an influence. So, they influence the people who overtake them. That's what it's supposed to be. And Joey influenced the fucking generation.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy drummers.
Yeah, like I say, I've got a Deicide best of that Joey Jordan's done the liner notes for, and he was saying, like, the latest Deicide album at the time, when they went to record Iowa, he gave that to the producer and went, like, right, that's my drums, ready? And that's how that album was fucking mental, because and that was that was, I think that was the most extreme album to ever. I think Pantera did it first. Yeah, it was the first extreme album to get to the Billboard.
No, I think Pantera.
But Iowa was the first one with blast beats, something like that.
I think Far Beyond Driven was the first one to debut at #1, whereas Iowa, I think, climbed and got there as word of mouth spread.
But Iowa had blast beats. I think that was the difference between Pantera and that. The start of People Equal Shit,
and that is just a wall of noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Black, death, grind, whatever you want to call it, it's there, and it was brought to the masses.
Yeah. Oh, so, definitely. It was a
flag bearer, mate.
Gateway drugs for me. So
that's it.
Yeah. So after talking about blast beats and black metal and things, let's go to a nice classic dad rock.
It's all metal, mate. It's all hard rock. It's all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is
all up there for discussion.
It all
Because
goes in the pan.
without this geezer playing bass on this album, Slipknot ain't playing, because no doubt Harris influenced them or a band that they fucking liked. It's all connected, and I love it, and that's why I love it all, because it's all one big family.
So, what's your initial reaction of this album before we go into the songs?
Initial reaction, it was, I don't know.
A brief summary, and then we'll go.
You know, it sounds like a demo. I really can't get on with the sound, and considering that Kevin Shirley produced it, and Kevin Shirley produced Brave New World, which is for me one of the best sounding albums ever recorded. I mean, obviously this is the sound they wanted because it's a throwback to the 70s, but it's a letdown.
Kevin Shirley only mixed it.
It's a derivative letdown.
Yeah,
because it sounds too much like other bands, and I know it's a homage and it's all that, but it's an album, you know. It's there, it's out there, but for me, it's not one that I'll ever go back to.
Yeah, it's a weird one. This is the thing with Kevin Shirley. His client list speaks for itself, so it's hard to sort of say anything. But I don't know. I just I'm looking through his thing now. Rush, we got Iron Maiden and Dream Theater. I mean, them three alone.
Yeah, that tells you, you know.
But it's just something about the sound of his albums that just pisses me off. It's very big, it's very loud, but do you ever get like an old 80s film or like say Star Wars, where when it came out on Blu-ray and you saw it on one of those massive tellies, you kind of saw how shit the effects really were, and you know, or say you got for some reason it's like, yeah, this looks great, but it's showing all the imperfections now.
Yeah,
and that's what it's like with Kevin Shirley for me. It's like, yeah, this feels very big, but I just feel like I'm getting a load of detail, which I'd rather you just zoomed back a bit and gave me a complete picture. And they always seem to lack a bit of crunch. And there's one song as well on the last Rush album. It's actually really heavy, like in a way, like, you know, the way like Muse can really kick into a riff at some point, and just they can turn it up a little bit.
Don't ever say Muse and riff in the same sentence again.
Well, what about Rage Against the Machine then? Can they write a riff?
Yes, let's use them.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, I'm not a big Muse fan, but I'm just trying to think of a band that's. Rush aren't exactly heavy, are they? Neither are Muse, but they can be quite. They can kick a.
No, Rage is a better example, because at least they got one foot in the genre.
Yeah, but it had that kind of dun 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 dun, dun, you know, that sort of thing. That's what made me think of Muse. But this album kind of to me, it's like, yeah, this is what I'm on about, because it's like this album can't decide whether it wants to be heavy or not. It seems to go. It goes heavy in places, but then other songs kind of pull away from it, and it's like, are you trying to be heavier than you actually are? But then on songs like This Is My God and Lost Worlds, they could do with turning up, because say like John Bush era of Anthrax would make a song like Lost Worlds really heavy, I think, like moshable heavy.
Yeah.
And but then you got songs like, you know, the Eyes of the Young, where it's like, this is Marillion, or
that's arena, that's arena rock, that one.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a mixed album, and it's weird because it kind of has one foot in one and one foot in the other.
Yes, I said it's derivative. It's, you know, it's influenced by so much stuff, but it's lesser than everything.
But it kind of takes away from that at one point, but then takes away into the other, and it's like, well, because you're neither one or the other, you're not really. Yeah, but that's not to say it's bad. It's just
no. I'd imagine there's people who fucking love this.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, you know, I think my main thing with it is classic rock for me, it was about two elements of classic rock bands stand out for me. You got a drummer who knows his way around the kit, and you got a singer with a big fucking set of brass balls, a really powerful voice like a Coverdale, a fucking a Bostoff, you know, all these singers from Free and Whitesnake. Their voices were just they just fucking tore walls down. So powerful. And this guy just hasn't got it. He's a good singer.
Yeah, there are parts when you're like, bloody hell, yeah, and this like, he seems to warm up as the album goes on as well, doesn't it? So it kind of makes me wonder, was it recorded live? I find that a thing with Kevin Shirley as well. I think a lot of people just hire him for his studio because he has the resources to go, right, everyone just play live and I'll just record you all.
Yeah.
I mean, if every studio had that, then I don't know. He's got something to him because, you know, all the people choose to work with him obviously do for a reason. But then again, you could say that about Rick Rubin as well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, you know, someone's a Michelin star chef. It's like, yeah, but I still know.
Yeah, no, we discussed Rick Rubin the other day, didn't we? It was but with this, yeah, I mean, classic rock band, you're supposed to have a fucking drummer who pounds away and a singer that obviously ends really two powerful entities, and this has got neither. Because, you know, the guy can play drums. There's no question in that. He obviously knows how to play. And the singer...
history as well.
The singer can sing.
He's in one of your favourite bands.
Oh, where'd he come from?
Simon Dawson.
Oh, was it fucking Dawson?
Yeah, he was in Dearly Beheaded.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, my God. Because on the Dearly Beheaded... I know it's a different style of music.
And he was in Deeds, who was mentioned earlier.
But, yeah, you know, that's... Oh, fuck, I didn't even twig it was him. But no, yeah, he's a great drummer. And the singer, he can sing. Got a good voice. But he's just got no bollocks. No balls.
I think what it is, it just seems like he's buried in the mix at times. Because the singer should be soaring over the top of it.
Yeah, I don't think he's got it in him though. Because if you notice the more mellower tracks on the album, his voice is really good. When it's more acoustic based.
But when it comes to songs like "This Is My God" or "Lost Worlds" with the big choruses, he doesn't soar, does he?
The Paul Kossoff, you know, you want him to fucking that voice that just I called him Paul Bostoff earlier. That's a completely different guy.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the drummer from Slayer should never be singing in a classic rock band. But Paul Kossoff, man, I mean that his voice. Now, what am I talking about? Paul Kossoff? That's a fucking guitarist, isn't it? Who was it from Free? Some with Queen.
Paul Rodgers.
Paul Rodgers, that's the guy. Fucking hell, get it right. Jesus. But yeah, his voice, just outstanding. You know, that's a classic rock voice.
Yeah, Paul Rodgers, though, he didn't really soar, did he? But he was he's got a real smooth voice. He's got like a real velvet. He's kind of like a bluesy singer, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's got power, though.
Yeah, he still has power. Yeah,
it's got power. And a better analogy for it is, I know it's different, but you've got Billie Eilish doing the latest James Bond theme tune, right? And she's got a great voice. But to sing a James Bond theme, you need a Tina Turner. You need someone who's got a great voice, but it's got balls, you know, and Shirley it's the Bassey. Same. Yeah, exactly. Shirley Bassey, you know, someone who's got a great voice, but got power behind it. And this singer like Billie Eilish just has got a great voice, but just got no power. And you in these sort of songs, you need power to carry it through. And that's, I think, what lets it down. You know, live, he might be different. I haven't seen him live.
I don't really know much about Billie Eilish. All I want to do is just grab her and put her in the back of my car and take her to Disneyland.
It's fucking hoping you'd say.
Just cheer up.
Dark for a minute.
Yeah.
But,
no.
Yeah, mate, you're right. Yeah.
She just needs to cheer up. That's all. Just smile. There's a pretty girl underneath all that hair in your face and that blue shit coming out your eyes, I'm sure. Cheer up.
But yeah, I mean, you know, it's
Sing
just,
"Hit Me Baby One More Time" or something like that.
There's just no power in this band, and that's that is the word. There's no power.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Definitely. And so we'll kick in then. It kind of blows the doors off on the opening track. It kind of explodes into the speakers. You got a pretty nice sort of thick Sabbathy riff.
Hideous amount of wah though. I mean, he needs to get off the cry.
There, yeah.
He needs to get off the cry, baby. Fucking hell.
but then it kind of nice quiet verse before kicking back in again.
That bit just screams 70s rock, doesn't it? You got the vocals with the keyboards or the Hammond or whatever underneath it.
Yeah. And I think this is a good song. It's a good driving song. It's
too long, and
I did see the band live, and they opened with this, and they in Maiden style, Steve was ran onto the stage, straight to the front with his bass,
Did it make more sense live? Was there a bit more power or not?
They did click live, definitely. Yeah, I was a little unsure with this album. Wasn't quite sure what to make of it, and I managed to get a press pass to the London show of this tour. And it was like, well, seeing Steve in a venue this small for free, I had to take photos all night and write a review of it. But fair enough. And I think it worked a lot better live. But we'll get to that later because it didn't quite follow up. But and I will say as well, Richard Taylor was great that night. And he is a great front man as well. He does command the stage and he does hold the audience as well. He's kind of got he's quite wiry, quite like a lightweight boxer.
Yeah.
But he reminded me somewhere between John Bush and Dave Garn from Depeche Mode. The way he sort of moves.
There's a combo.
Yeah. But he had the kind of, he paced himself the way John Bush does, and the way John Bush sort of holds the audience, but he had the kind of flowing movement of the way Dave Garn does, because Dave Garn, he's not like Bruce Dickinson at all, really, because Dickinson's always running around. But I don't know, if you watch John Bush, watch Dave Garn, and somewhere between the two, you got Richard Taylor, and I thought he was great that night. He's quite well, like the way he sings, you kind of get the impression that he's quite well spoken. But he was kind of a Cockney oik, just like Steve Harris, really.
Yeah.
There was one point he said and this is, and he said the name of the song, went into the song. He's like, thank you very much. And this next song is, and he said the same song title again. And he turned round, and the band were all just looking at him, and he and he just turned around and went, we just fucking played that, didn't we? And the crowd erupted into laughter, and he went, right, this song is
quality. I love it when bands fuck up, because it just proves they're human.
Yeah, but this, I think this is actually quite a, pretty half decent, half heavy song. And I could almost picture myself in a band doing it myself. Like how I would picture how I would perform it. And I think it's a good way to open an album. I think it's got a really good chorus. And it brings to mind. It's got a very British rock sound to it as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it has.
Think of UFO, you think of things, but even then, there are points in this album that reminds me of U2 and stuff like that as well. It's even got that mainstream sort of radio rock feel to it, and in that way, I'm surprised it didn't find an audience of its own, because I think that was half a problem with this album, is that it's sitting there. It's Iron Maiden fans primarily. 95% that would be checking it out, but I think a whole different audience probably would have appreciated it.
Yeah, and the thing with Maiden fans, they're notorious, aren't they? They don't like it. That's it.
Well, if you look at the stuff on YouTube, though, like if you look in the comment section, it is pretty. I think it's more positive than it is negative. You might get the odd one.
Yeah.
But mind you, it's been out quite a few years now. I think everyone that thought it was crap probably abandoned it a long time ago. A lot of people are the people that return to it and say like how underrated it was, and it's generally, I wasn't sure about this, but over time it has grown on me. There's a lot of the comments as well. So, but yeah, your thoughts on This Is My God?
Yeah, I've said it. It's just, this works better with a powerful vocalist. I'm going to say this. I'm going to sound like a broken record over the next sort of at least 7 or 8 of these songs, but you need power, and he just doesn't have it in his voice.
Yeah.
And production don't do him any favours. Where it was looking at Wikipedia, it was recorded. Some songs were recorded here, some songs were recorded there, some songs were mixed here, some songs were fucking mastered here.
That never.
There's no.
Yeah.
There's no. A great album is, it's the reason the Black Album, in my opinion, the Black Album sounds great, because Bob Rock sat in that fucking studio and didn't move. It's a consistent sounding album. Same with every other fucking album that sounds great.
I think a recording session needs to be started and it needs to be finished.
Yes, that's
for
it.
better, for worse.
Yeah, exactly.
And even an album that an artist can't stand because it's unfinished and it's not as good as it doesn't matter. That is better than any album that was started 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years later, half the staff.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. On the other side of the world, it started and then it finishes on the other side of the world. Chinese democracy is a prime example of that, I think.
I've never listened to it. I have no fucking desire to go anywhere near it.
It's not there's good songs on it. And even Slash has said, no, it's not actually.
Well, they play something live, don't they?
He just says it's just it's a Guns N' Roses album. The way
I will hear them because I've got tickets to see them next year. So,
are they playing?
Playing at Planet Top.
Yeah, he says it's a Guns N' Roses album. The way Axl visualizes Guns N' Roses, he's like, it is what it is, But yeah, no album, the greatest albums ever. None of them took 10 years.
No.
And cost millions and had they all went, no, we went in this studio 6 to 8 weeks later, we finished, and that was that. It's done. So moving on. The
Lost Worlds. Obviously, we're not talking about Senjutsu here, Lost in a Lost World. This is the original Lost Worlds. And I think this is a messy song. I mean, we were talking about Simon on drums earlier. He is one of my drummers who's been some of my favourite bands, but what he's playing on here does not match the riff whatsoever. It's really fucking disjointed and you've got a really good pre-chorus and chorus, but again, the singer, you know what I'm going to say. But then you've got this acoustic section, and that's when his voice really fucking clicks. It sits with that more mellow style. And it's he would find if he's found his niche. If he did an acoustic rock band, fucking hell, it'd be awesome. But he just ain't cut out for this style of music. Sorry, mate, it's nothing personal. You can sing, but you just ain't got the balls behind your voice.
Yeah, I quite like this track though. I like the little quiet bits. So you got that little driven. But it's
the bits after the pre-chorus.
But then that bit when it goes into where it just all opens up, it just strike of a chord, and then
those are the bits.
I used to dream of lost worlds and all that.
Yeah, but they are good.
Those little bits there, the music. I just visualize like open spaces, streams flowing and mountains and that. It seems to capture being out in the open air. It's got a very sort of, it's a sunny day, but there's a real crisp wind, and the just out in the nature somewhere. It captures that quite nicely, this song, and that's why I like it. Again, I can kind of, when you have been in bands yourself as well, when you do listen to certain albums, you do tend to fill in the gaps at times.
Yeah.
And I sort of hear the potential of the song rather than the final result.
That's it,
and I do think sometimes certain songs, you just think in different hands, this probably would have been handled better. And now I'm just picturing that, and I'm kind of all right with it. But yeah, I think you summed it up really. I mean, considering Kevin Shirley's, he mixed it, he didn't produce it. It was actually Steve Harris that produced it, which I think
which
explains the thing or two.
Yeah, if you go back and listen to our talks about X Factor and Virtual 11, you know what we feel about that.
I don't know. It just doesn't gel, does it?
Yeah, you can hear all the instruments, you can hear the kick drums and all the bass. You fucking definitely hear the bass, but sometimes to the detriment. but it just don't sound good. Doesn't sound good. But it is what it is.
Right, we got a nice with Karma Killer.
Too much war.
Too much war.
Bass too loud.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man! It actually the bass. Just like Steve, shut up. For fuck's sake, you're one of the greatest to ever pick up the instrument, but stop it. And it's
I think this is one of the songs that actually reminds me a bit of U2.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't like it, because I've never. There's only one song of theirs I've ever liked, and that weren't even a mainstream one. But this is I couldn't get on with this track whatsoever.
And the thing is, when you're growing up in England, in the UK, I mean, Ireland and England, well, I suppose anywhere really, we're as big as they are. You can't, whether you like U2 doesn't come into it. You just know them.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, and they're just in the fabric, aren't they? There's just songs. So when you say U2, you get that sound, don't you? And this to me sounds like something like that would have been on like the more modern take, like say post 90s of U2. This is something that they would have come out with.
Yes, well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about it being derivative. It's not, it's got all these influences, but it just doesn't match any of them.
Yeah,
I don't care what you say. In no version of Planet Earth on any part of the multiverse should this song ever be 5.5 minutes long.
Yeah, no, it could easily be trimmed down to 3.5. If it was trimmed down to 3.5 minutes, it'd flow a bit better.
Yeah,
probably have a bit more of a kick and
too much repetition.
It's a bit too repetitive, and it just kind of stumbles along rather than
it does.
But Us Against the World, nice little introduction, like kind of feedbacky introduction. You got a little bit of keyboard,
the old Hammond organ. Yeah, if you want classic rock sound, you've got to have the Hammond. But it's the first time we've had sort of a Maiden sounding melody.
Yeah,
it's a Maiden sounding melody, isn't it? Which is the first time. But I suppose if you're Steve Harris, it must be as much as you try and separate the two. It's in your fucking DNA, isn't it? You've been writing it for nearly 40 years. It's bound to bleed through. But it actually makes for a pretty good song. But again, the singer in the mellow sections, he thrives. But the chorus,
and I like the mellow sections on this.
Yeah, no, they work. They work really well. But again, the chorus would work with a more powerful vocalist. I don't, I don't like sound like a broken record, but he's the main letdown in the album.
And it's again, I don't think he's necessarily bad. He's just in the wrong band, isn't he?
Yeah, no, like I say, the guy can obviously.
Do you know who? Funny enough, this reminds me of if they ever got signed and put out an album. Local band to us, no one watching this would have known them. Verity's Chair. Do you remember them?
Yeah, I do. I can't remember what they fucking sound like though.
They kind of had that
long time.
It was a very soft version of rock. It was. Shall we say it was mature? They they had all been in metal bands as youngsters, but they'd all sort of looked like they'd all just got married and cut their hair and started doing a bit sensible rock. Do you know?
Yeah, no,
but they were good. Yeah, I mean, fucking hell, one of them didn't just had an acoustic guitar over the whole set. There was no sort of plug in and rock out, was there? It was all.
No, that's it. Yeah.
But they did. They put
sit down and chill out.
Yeah, and this sort of reminds me of what they would have gone on to do if they'd beefed it up in a few songs to get that sort of rock edge. But no, Us Against the World, I do think is a pretty cool song. I say it conjures up. I like the little use of the keyboards. That's the thing as well. I think we're onto something here. Is that the mellower sections are actually the
better
highlight
ones
rather than the beefier parts. But and that melody as well. That's definitely Maiden, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Then again, who did Maiden nick those off? You know.
Yes. Well, funnily enough, we're gonna fucking find out in the next track, The Chosen Ones.
Yeah.
Because it's the first real sort of upbeat song, isn't it? It's the first real sort of a rockier one, for lack of a better word. But my God, it sounds like Thin Lizzy.
Oh yeah.
And but that's only on the verses. In the choruses, you get your Foreigner Journey fucking territory. For me,
I'm not too familiar with Foreigner, to be honest. I know that I Want to Know What Love Is, and Journey. I only really know, the singles.
Yeah, but you get that sort of vibe. But I think all those singles tell you what you need to know, really. But speaking of Foreigner, you can come and see them. They're supporting Whitesnake next year on the farewell tour.
Yeah, okay.
Whitesnake, Foreigner,
I'm not in
and
a gulag by then. Yeah, I don't know about that. Why? Probably should. They're ones to tick off the box, aren't they?
I see them, but it was only a festival. It was a Ramsden Man of Whitesnake, and I'll cover Dale's voice, mate.
Oh yeah, that guy's got it.
Still got it. Which is exactly, ironically, what is the sort of voice we need on this album. It's that quintessential fucking 70s hard rock, just pure power.
Yeah, I'll just listen to the chorus now. But you got that little bit before the chorus as well. That that little melody, and you've got the and then the backing vocals up. Oh, bit of a. But then you've got this little twin lead part going on towards the end. So you got, I think it's the second chorus. I think it's about a 4 or 5 minute mark. You've got this fantastic little twin lead, and the melody of the leads now is, oh my God, I'm in Thin Lizzy heaven now.
Yeah, big time. It is definitely Thin Lizzy inspired.
You can just see, Scott Gorham and any of the other guys doing the old twin, and even the bass is that, he's even got that Phil Lynott sound.
Yeah.
And then when it just crashes, that.
Yeah, I mean, Lizzy would have influenced him big time, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is awesome. So, this song definitely put a smile on my face, and it reminded me of Lizzy for all the right reasons, and I didn't feel like I was being ripped off either.
Oh no, but like I say, they do wear their influences on their sleeve.
There's a funny one in it, because when you're reminded of a band and it makes you smile, but then another band remind you of another band and you're going, yeah, you're pissing me off now. There is that thin line, isn't there?
There's a thin line, yeah.
I think there's influence though, and there's regurgitation, and I think your instincts tell you one or the other. I mean, I've never really as much as aesthetically, like their shows are awesome, is that Ghost, and I think that they've got some pretty cool singles.
Again, I've never heard them.
I like one of.
I didn't want to ruin the fucking thing.
No, there's a song of theirs I really liked a few years ago. I can't remember what it was called. Can you hear the rumble? Can you hear the sound of the that one? Can't remember where it goes now. But that was a really good song. But whenever I've sat down and listened to them, the singles are really good, but the album's shit. But but even then, their singles, I'm just like, this is Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're supposed to be
like. You're just making, but I'm like, oh, this is a pretty good song, and the single's always good. But then I'm like, I just want to listen to Blue Oyster Cult now. Whilst there could be another band that it's like, well, yeah, they might have you're reminding me of these, and that's good, but you kind of got your own thing going on as well. That's what you got to go with, I think I think that's what you get away with it for the first 2 albums, say. But after that, you got to have your own thing.
But that's it. It's about being derivative, isn't it? You're sort of doing what other people have done, but you're just not. It's just not as good. Like you say, you get the odd thing where you're like, it makes you happy, like you said this, but then you'll get the other one where it'll be like, look, stop. Yeah. It's clear that you're trying to do this and you're not good enough. Yeah,
I mean, who's that band at the moment that's doing the rounds? And it is just like you are. I know everyone's influenced by Zeppelin to a point, but it's like, no, you're literally just ripping off.
Greta Van fucking Fleet.
Yeah, is that yeah.
They even look like them, and that pisses me off no end anyway, because you know how much I've not got time for Led Zeppelin in any shape or form. Yeah. Most overrated band of musicians to ever live. But having this band thrust down your face saying that they're the future, it's like, no, they ain't.
It's like, no, they're not. Because the future doesn't remind you of something that happened 40 years ago.
They're stuck in a fucking time warp, and they need to get with it. And, you know, blatantly plagiarising the shittest band to ever pick up instruments is not a way to endear yourself to me. So go and stop and get jobs at Asda. Yeah.
It's like you're doing something that was done before, but then doing your own modern take on it and pushing it forward. The prime example of that.
Yeah, Carcass, no, that's how music's evolved, isn't it? You know, you always
cattle decapitation. Easily took what Carcass did and went, right, we're going to reinvent this and push it forward. And I'm not even that big a fan of that band, but I recognise they're good at what they do.
Yeah, no, that's how it works, though, isn't it?
Plus, they took the whole vegetarian thing as well and ran with that as well. They do the artwork where it's like slaughterhouse, but the other way round. So it's humans, they're the cattle, and you got all these cows in high visibility suits and all that. It's fun. But that's how you do it. You take everyone nicks off people, you know. You're not saying, you know, but yeah, you got to take a little bit of them, a little bit of that, and spin it until something new comes out of it. And so many bands nowadays just simply don't.
That's it. They just copying, and it's piss poor.
Yeah. So the Chosen Ones. That's
you know,
an album highlight. I mean, it's just a feel good song.
We're talking about this song, yet we've just been savaging people who rip off others, and it's not. You know, this song ain't that bad.
No, but it wasn't a rip off, was it?
No,
Speaking of ripping off, though, the next song, Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne wants his vocal melody back, and Jakey Lee wants his riffs back. Because A World Without Heaven, the opening bit.
I didn't even notice. All I noticed was the Eddie Van Halen style playing in the middle section.
Oh right, yeah. Oh well. Well, when you've finished, right, this is your homework. Check out World Without Heaven, just the first 30 seconds, first minute or so.
Yeah. And
then put on Ozzy Osbourne's Shot in the Dark.
Yeah, no, as soon as you said that, I can hear it now. Yeah. But you know, this is a very sort of 80s American hard rock song, isn't it? They've sort of jumped forward a decade now. And again, the singing sort of lets you down, but please don't ever sing the word heaven again, because the way he sings it makes me want to hit him with a stick. Oh, it's fucking excruciating. It's hideous. And why he chose to sing it that way, I just fucking don't know. He must have lost a bet or something. Heaven! It's like, oh, Jesus. Stop. You know, crap. But, I mean, the music on the chorus is really good, but I just, you know.
Does it need to be 7 minutes, though?
No, of course it don't. Of course it don't. It's the same. It's the rest of the album. You trim fat off, you get this down to 40 minutes. Because no classic rock.
And the next album's 10 minutes longer. You know, the next album's an hour long.
Fucking stroll on. But the thing about classic rock, there was hardly ever any, like, you know, you had your obvious ones, but most of them were.
You normally had a bit of an epic at the end, didn't you? You normally had like a little 10-minute sort of second from last song or something like that on the B side. But yeah, these are all pretty long songs, but they're not. They are straightforward rock. Verse chorus. There's nothing.
That's it. They don't need to be
going on.
No, there's no Alexander the Great style fucking melodies in this.
Even on the Chosen ones with that nice little solo and thing, there's like, it even goes like they're jamming a little bit. But even
which is the hallmark of the 70s. Zeppelin, they fucking jammed for 6 albums.
Yeah, well, their live shows were pretty long and drawn out for that as well. Yeah. But like a Whole Lot of Love, totally unnecessary. That bit in the middle.
I played that. I played that live in my covers band, and because the guitarist loved it, and I had to sit there like a fucking melt, eating cymbals for 2 minutes while he did all that pointless shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just
I
stop.
always thought that was like, well, that you didn't need that.
No.
You could have just done it, shortened it for a thing, and then just bam, bam, you know, and then you're in again. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love getting you wound up with.
Get me fucking fired up. On
Zeppelin, man.
Yeah. Oh, don't. Yeah. I could do a show on it. But you know, there's some. To be coming back to the song, there is sort of a good place. Some good bass playing from Steve under the dual guitar harmony after the solo. I can't remember how it goes, but I know it did strike me. It was like, oh fucking hell, that actually quite a nice sound and quite a nice fit.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, I've only sort of done. It's the thing where I'm coming to this blind again. I'm only sort of doing 3 or 4 listens to the album before we review it, so it's not.
What about Judas? What did you think of that?
Horrible intro, and the verses are dull. And weak vocals let it down, not for the first time. But where the fuck did that bit in the middle come from?
Well, that's the strumming on the acoustic guitar.
Yeah, it's like, hang about. I've accidentally.
It just kind of goes down. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I thought I'd hit skip. It was like, huh? And it's like, no, it just comes out. No ring out or nothing. It was like, boom.
Nice little folky bit, isn't it? And then.
Yeah, no, that bit's, you know, the bit is really good. But it just comes out of fucking nowhere. And it's just like, what? You know, if you've had a ring out or something, I don't know what, but it would work better. But it's so abrupt. It's all right. You know, brain couldn't work it out.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it builds up to that sort of rocky ending as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it builds up to the chorus again, doesn't it? And you know, like there's so many things. There's some good music. It's ideas just not being formed properly.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, I can imagine these guys, all right, they've been playing for 10 fucking 15 years, whatever. But I can't imagine anyone will go, Steve, you're talking bollocks. We shouldn't do this. We should do this. And not because Steve's like, not because people call him Sergeant.
Well, I think people have said it to him, but he.
Yeah, you know, but whether
they suffer the consequences.
Yeah, you know, I don't know whether that Sergeant Major Harris stuff is true or not. You know, that come from Bruce, and a lot of stuff Bruce said back in the day you can take with a fucking pinch of salt, can't you?
Yeah, but I could see Bruce rubbing people up the wrong way just as much as Steve would. That's the unstoppable object against the unmovable force.
Yeah, irresistible force versus the immovable object. Yeah, you know, so that's why. But you know, no, this song is a weird one.
Yeah. All right, moving on to I think the best song on the album actually is Eyes of the Young. This
is one we were talking about earlier, proper arena rock. This is 80s fucking sellout stadium job.
This is a Dave Wright jobby. This is This is something Dave. This is something that he would have wrote in his band, and I mean that a compliment as well, but it does remind me of something Dave would write.
Yeah.
Because it's feel good.
It is. Drums and vocals let it down. It needs a busier drum pattern. It's a song built for having a drummer to really show off a bit. You know, because you know me, I'm not into drummers showing off unnecessarily. It's like there's always bits where you do it. But this was a song, if ever it was written for a drummer, off you go, son. Make your mark on this. And he doesn't. And that's fucking annoying because the guys used to play in Dearly Beheaded. He's a savage drummer. And he always served the song in that band, and he's not doing it here. It's just too safe. And it's way too long again.
It was actually the sort of centre point, like the climax of the live show.
All right.
Yeah, this was the one where it was like everyone was up.
Again, it might make sense live. I don't know.
Yeah, especially at the end as well when you got the when they got the and then the crowd and it got like a bit of a football chant thing going along. Basically got the Maiden whoa. Yeah. Old Blazer's done well out of it.
Yeah.
And
one album at least.
But with that bass underneath, they're doing it as well. They get the crowd to sing it with them. Mm-hmm. It's like the centerpiece of the live show. If you watch this song live, It always goes down well, and
Cool.
it's delivered pretty well as well. Yeah, it's that bit at the end. But yeah, this is holiday rock.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
rock.
that's it.
But it is. It's that typical summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that would be playing on Planet Rock in the middle of June.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's proper arena rock.
Where are we on now on the
track 9?
Oh, we're near the end. Yeah, right.
Are.
These are the hands.
This is quite a modern sounding song for my ears.
You've got a bit of a crunch at the beginning as well, isn't it?
You've gone 80s. This is proper. I mean, he actually sounds like Bryan Adams on the chorus when he's singing.
But that opening riff, that like again, if that just came on the radio, you'd think, oh, what is this Alter Bridge or?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Very, very modern.
Yeah.
I mean, I like I say, he sounds a bit like Bryan Adams on the chorus when he's singing, which isn't a bad thing, by the way. The chorus riff is fucking excellent. And I think the last minute of the song is the best minute on the album, music-wise. Do you know who you are?
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the best ones, actually, for me. If not the best.
Yeah. So you're talking about the build at the end. These are the hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you know who you are?
Yeah.
He repeats that line, and that's a fucking best bit on the album.
Yeah, it's a fun. They sort of start turning the ante up again at the end of the album. It gets warm as it goes along, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I mean, a few missteps aside, but then you get I mean, like I say, I think it's his best song on the album.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. I think Eyes of the Young is more of like a single, but yeah, I think if there was a few more songs like These Are the Hands on this with a bit more driven riff than that, it probably would
goes from but it doesn't really suit the narrative he's trying to thing me, is it? It's a classic rock, whereas this is, like you say, you've just compared it to Alter Bridge, like, that sort of riff.
Yeah.
So you're 30 years down the line, sort of thing. And then they go and fucking throw it all out of left field on The Lesson, which is a fucking, let's be honest, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even an acoustic song. It's mainly strings. Yeah.
Yeah, strings, piano. His voice works wonders on it because it's that mellower section. And you either end an album on a fucking like a proper banger, or you end the album on something totally different. Because you've always got to leave an album to sing. You've got to make the person think, "Fuck," and make them want to. Oh, you know what? Let me go back to that.
Yeah.
Something that Steve knows well, because most of Maiden's best songs are closers. A few skips aside, you've always got the closers always strong.
Yeah, especially with Maiden, they always try and end it with a statement, don't they? Like a climax.
That's it. That's the thing. It is, here we are. Fucking go back and listen to this again, or something that sticks in the head. And
I'd say "Hello, Bet Our Name" was that's the last song on Number of the Beast, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because you've got the reissue, haven't you, with Total Eclipse?
That wasn't the last song. No, that's Total Eclipse was mixed into the album. I think it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't end.
Yeah, no. Hello
same
was
with Sanctuary, and there was one on Killers as well. But they're put in the running order. So I always thought Sanctuary was the second song on Iron Maiden. To go from Prowler straight into Remember Tomorrow, it sounds odd to me.
Yeah,
it makes sense. 1-2 punch, then
then
something different,
Yeah.
But yeah, Total Eclipse is in the middle of the album. Yeah, Hello Bet Our Name finishes it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was something else then. For some reason, but I don't know why. But yeah, basically, my point saying Hello Bet Our Name is the prime example. That's how you close an album,
Yeah, like Ryan the Mariner, fucking Alexander the Great. Yeah, you make that statement.
Dark, yeah.
Like, boom. It's like a mic drop, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like how you end a set. You should, if you're supporting a band, you should always end your set with your best song. It's like, fucking follow that, arseholes. Do you know what I mean? Good luck. But they've done it on this, I think, but in a completely different way.
Don't you think it would have been funny if they'd finished the show with Hello Bet Our Name rather than Iron Maiden?
Yeah,
just you know, and then just
Well, they've always done it though, haven't they? That was
and
the
then just hello, be thy name, and then bang, the lights just go black, and then that's it, gone. Yeah.
But they do end the show, but I don't know, they end the encore with it. Obviously, Maiden always ends the main drag.
Oh yeah, there is that. Yeah.
Well, they haven't done it for a while, but you know, that's why you should never, ever, ever end your set with "Run to the Hills." It's just a momentum killer, as I said about Legacy of the Beast. All wrong.
Right. So this one sort of ends it. Yeah, you either end it with a bang or you let them down gently.
And this does that, and
they've chosen to let us down gently, which isn't a bad thing.
No, for me, the two best tracks on the album are the last two.
Yeah. So let's sum it up. Really, is this a worthwhile endeavour or a failed experiment?
4. You know, you can see why he done it. Side projects are supposed to be different, which this is. It just doesn't. It doesn't really work though, and purely because it's too derivative. It's not like he's adding anything new to it, but he doesn't need to. I suppose he just honouring what he grew up listening to.
Yeah.
So I can give it a pass based on that.
It kind of gives you an insight into what he does listen to, though, doesn't it? Because it sounds like he doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what we just did last week with Primal Rock Rebellion.
Yeah.
I mean, these were released the same year.
That's it. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Like, it's night and day, isn't it?
It is night and day, big time.
And that's I'm doing something different.
Yeah.
Because I know this would never survive. Like, this would never happen in Maiden. So I'm getting this out of my system. You know, this was just sort of.
And to a certain extent, British Lion is that, but it's just weak, really.
Yeah.
I summed it up with a singer and a drummer. It's just weak.
I will say though, I mean, the band did come across well live. That was a good live show, and there was talk of a live album coming out, and I think that was to address the criticism this album got, because it was, if we put a live album out, people will see the difference.
Yeah.
And then that album never came out, and but if they took that live album template and went, right, we need to translate this onto an album, then I think that would have worked. Now, I've not actually heard The Burning, but I did go to listen to it, and I'll be honest, I didn't get through the first song. So this one, well, I'll have to listen to it now, but that will be my maybe I just weren't in the mood, but
that's the thing. If you catch music at the wrong time, it taints it, doesn't it? And you're like, fuck this. And
it could be like say, when we did this last episode, if you didn't watch it, I didn't even have a physical copy of it, but I ended up ordering one because I liked it that much. And I've gone, where the fuck was this the whole time? Like, what was the matter with me? So look, we've given Paul a kick in, we've given Blaze a kick in, and we've didn't want to do it.
We've given Adrian a kick in as well.
It's hurt us more than it hurt them.
Yeah.
So the governor's got to get a kick in as well. We've got to hold him to the same standard. And
I think the only one who didn't get a kick in was Brucey Boy.
Yeah.
Well, he got a bit of a kick in on last album, but that was just let's get it out. It wasn't his bread and butter, was it? But no, it's it seems weird kicking the governor, doesn't it? But that's why we're doing this. Be honest. Give our opinions. Whether they're wanted or not, getting them.
But that's where I'm coming from going forward. On The Burning, I want to know, have they taken the live shows into thing? Or no, we need to get this across. Because let's face it, there was no live shows for this to build on.
Yeah.
But if these had gone out on tour first,
that's it. Coming out on tour,
that was like the sort of the what's the word I'm looking for? The dreaded era of Van Halen with Gary
Cherone.
Yeah, that he said, I wish we went on tour.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
then come back to do an album. And he went, I think that album would have been a lot different. But the album was already done by the time he came on. He was just told, go on and sing that. And Michael Anthony said, he went, no one could have saved that album. It was a fucking piece of shit to begin with. Like, didn't matter who sung on it. Yeah. When he was past the poison chalice, really. He was doomed from day one, really, no matter who it was. So, but yeah, I think if they did a few gigs beforehand, they could have skimmed off the averages. And I think hopefully on the second album, because it was a successful tour, they had sold out shows and everything. So and they did have a lot of good live shows, and they still doing that second tour they did when the Book of Souls, the tour finished, and
they fucking went out pretty much straight after, didn't they?
Yeah, they did 2 nights at the O2 Arena, and then 2 days later, Steve Harris was in Colchester.
Yeah.
At the Arts Centre. He said the band are rehearsing now. I've got 1 day's rehearsal with them, and then boom, we're on another tour. Did another 17 days at the end of the world tour. But they had sold out shows as well, so they can obviously have it live. So yeah, I'm just hoping that the live show was taken into context for the album coming on. So we'll address that when we come to it. So I think we've reached the end of the show.
We have.
Thanks as ever for watching. If you want to support the channel, or if you want to help us out in any way, also, give us one of them, like and subscribe, and also Nightmare Cabin. So this is Maidencast, but Nightmare Cabin is the channel. If you could give it a share and hashtag Maidencast and hashtag Nightmare Cabin. Nightmare Cabin is now on Instagram. I'll be putting the shows up on there with links to the show. And I also put up a photo of whatever I'm listening to, whatever given day with what I'm doing. And I like to kick off a little discussion as well. What do you reckon of this album? What do you reckon of that? So, yeah, go with us Nightmare_Cabin. I'll put a link in the description box as well. And I think that's about everything.
Yeah.
So, now you definitely want to join us next show. Because
we are with the Behemoth. The double album. Boom.
Yeah.
Our last check-in with the boys before the new shit.
Yeah.
In 36 days, 2 hours, 42 minutes and 46 seconds.
There we go, lads.
I piss my wife and daughter off with this every day. Because at heart, I'm 15 again.
I'm sure you did that anyway, Luke. So.
That's it.
Right. See you next time, folks.
Take
care.